Welcome to my expat stories. I'm standing outside a locked dive shop on Koh Tao, staring at an empty storefront with a faded sign. 3 weeks ago, this place was packed. Equipment everywhere. Staff preparing gear. Customers signing waivers. Nisha behind the counter smiling at me. This feels right, Ryan. You being here. Us working together. Here's how a woman who knew dive sites better than I did destroyed 12 years of saving in 3 weeks. If you've ever trusted your expertise so completely, you forgot to verify who actually owns what you're looking at. Hit that subscribe button. Because that's what 12 years of diving will do to you. Make you think you can't be fooled underwater or on land. Here's Ryan. Right, so I'm sat in my childhood bedroom in Cornwall, looking at photos on my phone. There's one of Nisha and me on the boat deck, both in wetsuits, sun setting behind us. We'd just come up from Chumpfon Pinnacle, seen whale sharks, 3 of them. Massive. She's leaning against me, smiling. Happy. That photo was taken 2 days before everything disappeared. 2 days before I learned that the woman who understood the ocean the way I did was actually studying how to take everything I had. 2 days before £48,000 vanished along with every dream I'd built for 12 years. Let me back up. Tell you how a diving instructor who'd worked in Egypt, the Maldives, the Philippines, and Thailand got completely destroyed by a dive shop that didn't exist. My name's Ryan. I'm 34, from Cornwall. I've been a diving instructor for 12 years. Started diving at 16 with my dad. Cold water, British coastline. Proper grim diving, but it teaches you respect for the ocean. Got my instructor certification at 22, started working abroad immediately. Egypt first, Red Sea, then Maldives, Philippines, Thailand. I've worked everywhere. I understand the diving industry completely. Know what makes a good operation. Know what doesn't. That's what I thought anyway. By early 2024, I'd saved £52,000. Lived cheap, shared rooms, ate local food, put everything into savings. I wanted to own my own dive shop. That was the dream. My own place. My own operation. In popular diving destinations, established shops sold for 100 grand or more. Way out of my range. I've been looking for opportunities I could afford. Maybe a smaller shop. Maybe a partnership. Something. In March 2024, I went to Koh Tao for a month. One of the most famous diving destinations in Southeast Asia. Everyone who dives knows Koh Tao. Cheap certifications, clear water, whale sharks if you're lucky. I'd worked there briefly 5 years earlier. Knew the island well. Knew the dive sites. Knew the scene. I checked into a guest house in Seri Beach. Basic place. Fan room, shared bathroom, 200 baht a night. Started visiting dive shops during the day. Introduced myself as an instructor looking for work or investment opportunities. Most places were fully staffed. Not interested. Standard responses. One evening I'm at a beachfront bar. Cheap beer, reggae music, watching the sunset. Started talking with another British bloke sitting next to me. Tom, early 40s maybe. Tanned, relaxed. The look of someone who'd been living on an island for years. We got chatting about diving, where we'd worked, what sites we'd done. He said he'd been living on Koh Tao for 8 years, owned a dive shop. We talked for maybe an hour about the diving industry, the island, operations. Tom seemed knowledgeable, understood the business side, spoke confidently about costs, profit margins, seasonal variations. The whole thing. Then he said something that changed everything. I'm thinking about selling island divers, actually. Moving back to the UK, my partner back home wants to start a family. Time to leave paradise. He took a drink, looked at me. You looking to buy into something? My heart started racing. Yeah, I am. I've got savings, been looking for the right opportunity. Island divers might be perfect then. Small operation, manageable, profitable. You've got instructor credentials, you know the industry. We should talk properly. We arranged to meet at his shop the following morning, 10 o'clock. I barely slept that night. This was it. This could be it. My own shop. Finally. Island Divers was on the main road in Sayuri. Prime location. Right where tourists walk past constantly. The shop had a storefront with dive equipment on display behind glass. Masks, fins, BCDs, wetsuits hanging on racks. Small office area. Desks, computers. Booking board on the wall. Classroom space with dive tables and equipment diagrams. Everything looked professional, well maintained, organised. Tom gave me a tour. Equipment storage area in the back with dozens of sets of rental gear. BCDs in various sizes. Regulators hanging on hooks. All looked well serviced. Proper maintenance. Wetsuits cleaned and hanging. Fins organised by size. Everything you'd expect from a good operation. The compressor room. 2 compressors. Both running. The sound of them filling tanks. That familiar sound. The smell of compressed air. Oil. Metal. Everything proper. Then he said we should go see the boat. Meet his business partner who ran day-to-day operations. We walked to the pier. 5-minute walk. That's when I met her. Nisha. Mid-30s. Thai woman. Standing on the boat deck. Navy blue rash guard. Black shorts. Hair tied back in a ponytail. Tan. Fit. Confident. She jumped down to the pier. Shook my hand. Firm grip. Direct eye contact. "Nice to meet you," she said. Perfect English. Barely an accent. Tom handles the business side. I handle everything underwater. That should have been my first warning. Professional. Polished. Perfect. But I just thought experienced dive master. Happens all the time in Thailand. The boat was a 12-metre dive boat. Hard top. Bench seating for maybe 16 divers. Proper setup. Twin engines. Safety equipment visible. Oxygen kit. First aid. Radio. Everything you need for commercial diving operations. We take this out twice a day during high season, Nisha explained, walking me around the boat, showing me the gear storage, the tank racks, the ladder setup. Morning trip usually to Champfon Pinnacle, afternoon to Japanese Gardens or Twin Peaks. Sometimes Southwest Pinnacle, if conditions are right. She knew her dive sites. I mean properly knew them. She described the depth. Champfon tops out at 14 metres. Drops to 36. Strong currents sometimes, but worth it for the whale sharks. Marine life. Barracuda schools. Batfish. If you're lucky, whale sharks between March and May. Current patterns. Incoming tide pushes north. You want to start south and drift. Let the current do the work. "You've got your dive master?" I asked. "Dive master and instructor, actually," she said, smiling. Confident but not cocky. "I studied marine biology in Phuket. Came to Koh Tao 8 years ago, started as a dive master, became Tom's partner 3 years later when he needed someone to run operations properly. She introduced me to the staff. 2 Thai dive masters, young, maybe mid-20s. 1 British instructor, Scottish accent. All seemed professional, friendly, normal. Back at the shop, Nisha showed me the booking system, computer screen full of reservations. "We're full for the next 2 weeks," she said, scrolling through. Fun dives, discover scuba experiences, open water certifications, advanced courses. We stay busy. The social media pages, over 3,000 followers on Instagram. Photos of happy divers, whale sharks, turtles, colourful reefs. Reviews, lots of them. 4.8 stars. Comments about professional staff. Great experiences. Nisha mentioned by name multiple times. Best dive master on the island. Nisha made our first dive amazing. I asked about financials. Tom pulled out a binder. Monthly statements. Revenue, expenses. Everything documented. During high season November to April, we generate between 800,000 and 1.2 million baht per month, Nisha explained. She had a notebook, neat handwriting, numbers in columns. Roughly 18 to 28,000 pounds sterling, after paying staff, boat fuel, equipment maintenance, rent, insurance, other costs, profit margins around 35 to 40%. I did the math quickly. Those numbers seemed reasonable, good even. I'd worked in enough dive shops to know what successful operations looked like. This looked like one. Everything checked out. Professional operation. Good location, solid reviews, proper equipment. Tom said he wanted 2 million baht for everything. I converted it. Roughly 47,000 pounds. That'd include all equipment, the boat, existing bookings, business license, website and social media accounts, everything. Turnkey. Walk in and start operating. I'd stay for a month after the sale, Tom said. Help you transition. Introduce you to suppliers, regular customers, contacts on the island. Make it smooth. I was interested. Very interested. But I needed to do proper due diligence. Verify everything. Check it all out properly. Tom said that was completely reasonable. Professional even. Gave me access to all his records, books, accounts, everything. Take your time. Check whatever you need. I want this done properly. Over the next week, I thoroughly evaluated island divers. Proper investigation. I went out on dive trips with them. Watched the whole operation. Nisha ran the boat like clockwork. She'd give the dive briefing. We're going to Chumpon Pinnacle. Maximum depth, 18 metres today. We'll descend on the mooring line. I'll lead the group south along the reef. Current should be minimal. Stay close. Watch for whale sharks. 35-minute bottom time. Safety stop at 5 metres for 3 minutes. Everyone understand? Professional. Clear. Confident. Underwater she was even better. She'd point things out. A nudie branch on coral. A moray eel in a crevice. Turtle swimming past. After the dive, she'd brief everyone. That was a hawksbill turtle. Endangered species. The nudibranch was a chromodoris. Beautiful colouring. The reef health here is good. We work hard to protect it. She knew her stuff. Properly knew it. We started talking more after dive trips. She'd have a beer at the shop. We'd chat about diving, about the industry, about life on the island. Building this business with Tom's been good, she said one afternoon. Just us in the shop. Staff out on afternoon dive. But Tom wants to leave. I want to stay. This is my home. The ocean's my home. Always has been. She wore a white tank top. Faded. Worn. Silver bracelet on her wrist. Simple. She'd talk about conservation. About protecting the reefs. About sustainable diving practices. Teaching people to respect the ocean. I spoke with customers independently. Casual conversations. Everyone had positive things to say. Great operation. Professional staff. Nisha's amazing underwater. Several said they chose island divers because of good reviews, and Nisha's reputation specifically. I reviewed business registration documents Tom showed me. Island Divers was registered as a Thai limited company. Proper paperwork. Tom showed me his work permit. Visa documents. Everything appeared legitimate. I contacted a lawyer in Koh Tao. Thai man named Surasak. Someone Tom recommended. He had an office near the pier. Professional setup. He explained buying an existing dive shop involved transferring company shares, updating business license, ensuring all permits were current. Standard process. His fee would be 50,000 baht, about £1,200, to handle all legal work, review everything, process the transfer. I hired him, asked him to verify everything about island divers. Everything. Over the next 2 weeks, Surasak conducted his review. Regular updates, professional communication. He verified the company was properly registered. No outstanding debts, no legal issues. Confirmed the boat was registered to the company with valid marine certification. Insurance current. His final report concluded everything was in order. Green light. I also had an independent equipment technician inspect all the gear. British bloke who'd been on the island for years, specialised in servicing dive equipment. He spent a full day checking everything. Regulators, BCDs, compressors, boat engines. His report said everything was well maintained. In good working condition. No issues. Everything checked out. Every single thing. During this time, Nisha and I spent more time together. We'd meet for dinner after work and small restaurants. Local places, not tourist spots. She'd text me dive site recommendations for my own dives. Photos of marine life she'd seen that day. A whale shark. A manta ray. Interesting coral formations. One evening we're having dinner. Small Thai place near the pier. Som tam. Grilled fish. Beer. She's telling me about her background. Growing up in Phuket. Studying marine biology. Coming to Koh Tao. Tom's ready to leave, she said. Looking at me. Serious. But I want to stay. Need to stay. This is everything to me. The diving, the conservation work. Teaching people about the ocean. This is my life. She wore a white sundress. Simple. Hair down for once. Small silver necklace. She looked beautiful. Properly beautiful. If you buy the business, she continued, I'd want to stay on. Keep doing what I do. Operations manager. Whatever you want to call it. She paused. Looked down at her beer. Then back at me. Unless you'd want a full partner. Someone who knows the island. Knows the sights. Knows how to run things here. Knows the ocean. My heart was pounding. I'd love that. A partner. You and me. She smiled. Reached across the table. Touched my hand. I was hoping you'd say that. That's when I knew I wasn't just buying a business. I was building something with someone. A life. A future. I'm an idiot. I made an offer to Tom. £48,000 for the complete business. Everything included. Tom accepted immediately. Perfect. Let's do this properly. We signed a letter of intent. CHATUCHAK began preparing transfer documents. I'd become sole owner of Island Divers. Tom would help with transition for 1 month. Standard arrangement. I transferred £48,000 from my UK account. Everything I'd saved except £4,000 emergency fund. Approximately 2.05 million baht. The funds went into an escrow account supposedly held by CHATUCHAK's law office. He said that was standard procedure. Protect both parties. Money releases when transfer completes. This all seemed proper. Professional. Over the next 2 weeks, CHATUCHAK processed the paperwork. Tom and I signed share transfer documents, multiple pages. Official looking, stamps, signatures. CHATUCHAK said he was registering the changes with Thai authorities. Normal process. Takes time. Tom continued operating the shop normally, started introducing me to daily operations in more detail. How to use the booking system, managing staff schedules, ordering equipment and supplies, tank fill schedules, maintenance routines, everything. Nisha showed me dive site logistics, which sites worked best for different certification levels, where to moor the boat at each site, how to read the currents and plan safe dives, backup sites if weather turned, emergency protocols. We went out on a trip together, just us, the boat captain. No customers. Training dive, she said. Make sure I knew the sites properly. We dove Chumpphon Pinnacle, descended on the mooring line, followed the reef south. The current gentle. Perfect. Then I saw them. 3 whale sharks. Massive. Maybe 5 meters long. Gliding through the blue. Mouths open. Filter feeding. Beautiful. Incredible. We surfaced, both grinning. That high you get from amazing dives. That was incredible, I said. Welcome to Koh Tao, she said. Smiling. Wet hair, salt water dripping. Sun bright overhead. We sat on the boat deck heading back. Sun setting. Orange and pink. The water calm. She leaned against me. Natural. Easy. This feels right, she said, quietly. You being here, us working together, building this. I kissed her. She kissed me back. The captain pretended not to notice. Focused on steering. Everything seemed perfect. I'd found a business. Found a partner. Found someone who understood diving the way I did. Who loved the ocean. Who wanted to build something meaningful. Then 3 weeks after I'd transferred the money, everything disappeared. I arrived at the shop one morning. 10 o'clock. Normal time. Door was locked. Lights off. Strange. We should be open. Morning trip should be loading. I called Tom straight to voicemail. That automated message. The number you are calling is not available. I called Nisha. Same thing. Number disconnected. Gone. That sick cold feeling hit my stomach. Ice spreading through my chest. I went to the pier. The boat should be there. Morning trip. It was gone. Empty mooring. Just rope floating in water. I ran back to the shop. Heart pounding, hands shaking. Asked the neighbouring business surf shop next door. Did you see Tom this morning? Or Nisha? The Thai woman who owned the surf shop looked at me sympathetically. I saw them early, maybe 5 this morning, loading equipment into truck. Big truck. Many people helping. They drove away with everything. All equipment. I thought they moving shop, you don't know. My legs went weak, couldn't breathe properly. I went to the building landlord's office. Thai woman who owned several properties in Sairi. I asked about Island Divers. About Tom. She checked her records, pulled out a file. The shop space rented month to month. Tenant paid through end of last month. Didn't renew. Left keys yesterday. Who was the tenant? I asked. She showed me the rental agreement. Company name I didn't recognise. Not Island Divers. Different name completely. How long had they been renting? 4 months. Since November. 4 months. The whole thing was only 4 months old. I went to find CHATUCHAK, his office near the pier. That professional-looking office. When I arrived, it was locked. Dark, empty. I asked the building manager. Old Thai man. Security guard, maybe. The lawyer? CHATUCHAK? He shook his head. Tenant left 1 week ago. Short-term lease. 3 months. Paid, left. Gone. 1 week ago. Before the transfer supposedly completed, everything collapsed. Everything. I tried calling CHATUCHAK. Disconnected number. I went to the bank where the escrow account was supposedly held. Bangkok Bank. Main branch in Mai Hard. I asked about the account CHATUCHAK had given me. The account number. The bank staff checked their system. Checked again. Called a manager over. They had no account under that name or number. No escrow account. Nothing. Are you sure about account number? The manager asked. I showed them the documents CHATUCHAK had given me. The account details. The manager examined them. These documents not from Bangkok Bank. Fake. Not our forms. Not our account numbers. The escrow account had never existed. The money I'd transferred had gone directly to an account controlled by Tom or CHATUCHAK or whoever they really were. Gone. £48,000. Vanished. I went to the police station. Hands shaking. Voice breaking. Filed a report. Showed them everything. Bank transfers. Documents. Photos. Text messages with Nisha. Everything. The officer took notes. Looked sympathetic but not surprised. This type of scam common on Koh Tao. We see it maybe twice a year. Scammers set up temporary dive operations. Rent equipment. Rent boat. Rent shop space. Everything temporary. Target foreign dive instructors who want to buy business. Then disappear with money. Everything I saw, the equipment, the customers, the boat trips, all real, but temporary. They rent everything. Equipment from multiple rental companies. Boat chartered from actual owner who doesn't know it's being used for scam. Shop space rented short term. Staff either accomplices or temporary workers who don't know they're part of fraud. Nisha, my voice barely worked. Part of it. These operations always have Thai partner. Makes it look legitimate. Builds trust. She probably professional. Done this before, maybe many times. I felt sick. Properly sick. He said the lawyer CHATUCHAK was certainly part of it. Documents he'd prepared were designed to look legitimate, but were worthless. The company registration, the share transfer, the escrow account. All fake. Recovering the money would be extremely difficult. Tom and CHATUCHAK were likely using false identities. Money probably moved out of Thailand already. Cryptocurrency. Untraceable. He gave me a police report number, suggested I contact the British Embassy. I went to Bangkok 2 days later. British Embassy. The consular officer was familiar with dive shop scams on Koh Tao. Very familiar. I'm sorry, she said, looking at my paperwork. This is sophisticated. Everything you verified was based on temporary arrangements. The shot was real but rented. Equipment was real but borrowed from rental companies. Boat was real but chartered. Dive trips you observed were real operations, but the business itself was temporary facade designed to fool you. She said pursuing legal action would cost thousands, with minimal chance of success. Money was gone. Perpetrators were gone. Nothing to recover. I spent another week on Koh Tao trying to find information. Any information. Asked at other dive shops if anyone knew Tom or Nisha. Most people shook their heads. A few remembered seeing them around. No one knew where they lived. No one had contact information. One dive master said he'd worked with Nisha briefly months ago. She was good underwater. Really knew her sights. Professional. I thought she was legitimate. We all did. I tried to trace the equipment. Visited rental companies. One shop owner confirmed some gear I described sounded like rental equipment they'd provided to various operations. Tom probably rented from multiple suppliers. Returned everything after the scam completed. None of the equipment had actually belonged to island divers. I contacted the Thai corporate registry online. The company Island Divers existed in records. But when I requested detailed information, the registered directors weren't Tom. Thai nationals. Names I didn't recognise. Shell company. Nominees. Fake. My supposed ownership transfer had never been registered because there was nothing real to transfer. No actual company. No actual ownership. Just documents designed to look official. I hired a Thai lawyer. Different one. Recommended by the embassy. Paid him £2,000 up front. He spent 2 weeks investigating. Checking everything. His conclusion was brutal. Sophisticated scam. Entire operation temporary and staged specifically to target me. Pursuing legal action would cost £5,000 to £10,000 minimum, with virtually zero chance of recovering anything. Money gone. Perpetrators gone. Dead end. I couldn't afford to spend more chasing nothing. I flew back to the UK completely destroyed. Broken. £48,000. Gone. Everything I'd saved for 12 years. Working cheap dive jobs. Living in shared rooms. Eating rice and noodles. Saving every penny. 12 years. Gone in 3 weeks. Not just the money though. It was Nisha. Those conversations about the ocean, about marine biology, about conservation. The way she'd explain dive sites, point out nudibranchs, turtles. The way she'd run the boat professionally. The way she'd looked at me across the table. I want to stay. This is my home. White sundress, silver necklace. Touching my hand. I was hoping you'd say that. Sitting on the boat deck after seeing whale sharks, sun setting. Her leaning against me. This feels right, Ryan. You being here. Us working together. I'd kissed her, told her I wanted her as a full partner, started imagining a life together, building something together, growing old together, diving together, our business, our life, our future, all of it calculated, every single moment, every conversation, every smile, every touch, scripted, performed, professional con. She knew diving the way I did, could read currents, identify marine life, run professional operations, brief dive sites expertly. But she only knew it because she'd studied how to fool diving instructors like me. She'd done her research, learned the technical details, the procedures, the terminology, everything an expert would look for. Then she performed it perfectly. Award-winning performance. Every conversation about conservation was designed to hook me. Every text about dive sites was bait. Every moment on the boat was manipulation. Every look, every smile, every touch. Fake. The woman I thought I was falling for didn't exist. Never existed. Just an actress. Professional criminal. Playing a role. Destroying lives for money. When I got back to Cornwall, I had to find work immediately. Got a job with a local dive shop. Teaching basic courses. Pool sessions. Beach dives. Cold British water. Grim. I felt like a fraud teaching people about diving safety when I'd just been destroyed by the simplest scam. Verify ownership. Basic due diligence. I'd failed completely. I had £4,000 left. My emergency fund, everything else gone. Had to move back in with my parents. At 34 years old, living in my childhood bedroom, starting over from nothing. Zero. The dream I'd worked toward for 12 years was dead. Killed. Destroyed. 6 months later, I'm still here. Cornwall, parents' house, working for someone else, saving again. But the dream's different now. Smaller, darker, more cynical. I'll never trust anyone the way I trusted Tom and Nisha. Never believe in anything the way I believed in island divers. That's gone. Killed. Sometimes I look at that photo. Nisha and me on the boat deck. Whale sharks behind us, both smiling. Happy. 2 days before it all disappeared. I should delete it. Should have deleted it months ago. But I can't. Because for those 3 weeks I believed it was real. I believed I'd found something. Someone. A future. And maybe that belief, that hope, that dream, maybe that's worth remembering. Even if it was built on lies. Or maybe I'm still an idiot. That's my story. 34, 12 years as a diving instructor. I inspected regulators with expert eyes, evaluated boat safety like a professional, checked equipment maintenance thoroughly, verified business documents, hired a lawyer, did everything right, met a woman who knew her dive sites, who understood marine biology, who loved the ocean the way I did, who touched my hand across a table and said, I was hoping you'd say that. Never verified who actually owned the shop I was standing in. Never confirmed the boat was real. Never checked if the business actually existed beyond temporary rental agreements. £48,000. Gone. 12 years of savings. Destroyed in 3 weeks. I'm back in Cornwall now, working for someone else, living with my parents. The dream of owning my own dive shop gone forever. Dead. Nisha sat with me on a boat deck after seeing whale sharks, leaned against me, sun setting. This feels right, Ryan. She was studying how to destroy me, learning my weaknesses, finding my vulnerabilities, playing her role perfectly. And it worked. Completely. This is my expat stories. Don't trust the ocean. It'll drown you every time.